Happy Thursday. I'm Tristan Winder in the News 2 streaming studio at the Morning Pulse here on this March 20th. Across the state yesterday, crews responded and scrambled to get the lights back on for those that had lost power. At one point, more than 11,000 customers within Lincoln alone were in the dark. And at last check, those numbers were sitting just over 400. But power outages went from as far east as Omaha to as far west as Kearney. NPPD reported a lot of power outages in York specifically. Meanwhile, this morning, the Nebraska State Patrol announced that they were busy with the blizzard conditions as well, as troopers responded to approximately 500 weather-related incidents on Wednesday alone. From the early morning hours to the evening hours of Wednesday, troopers performed 448 motorist assists and responded to 27 crashes. Troopers also helped other agencies with 32 responses. And in the midst of the blizzard as well, there was some damage to some State Patrol cruisers. One did suffer some significant damage, another only minor damage, but thankfully neither trooper nor other drivers were injured during these incidents in yesterday's very severe blizzard. The winter conditions not only impacting travel on the roads, but through the air as well. It was a guessing game for travelers at the Eppley Airfield, as many waited in line for their flights hoping to take off. Others weren't so lucky. Many people traveling for spring break, others say they're just trying to get back home. One traveler says because of the weather, his flight is rescheduled for tomorrow.
We're not frustrated, it's just what you're running into flying. Of course, we'd rather it wasn't this way.
The Central Nebraska Regional Airport also saw flight cancellations on Wednesday as well. And obviously those cancellations from yesterday are going to impact flight here throughout the great state of Nebraska for several more days, trying to play a little bit of catch up. Winter's grip is finally loosened and longer sunshine days are on the way, as today marks the first day of spring. The first official day of spring represents the vernal equinox in the northern hemisphere. That's when the sun aligns with the Earth's equator. While some regions may still see some late season chills, the promise of blooming gardens, outdoor adventures, and patio season is finally here. You can celebrate with a stroll in the park, crack open a window, enjoy some fresh air, or even maybe have a picnic. This morning, the Nebraska women's basketball team looking to catch up on some of their prep that they missed out on ahead of their NCAA women's tournament game tomorrow. Chase Matterson from our sister station, KOLN 1011 in Lincoln, reports the Huskers were supposed to fly down to Fort Worth, Texas yesterday afternoon at 2, but because of the blizzard conditions, a total of 93 Huskers did not fly out of Lincoln until after 8 o'clock last night. We caught up with head basketball coach Amy Williams to get her thoughts.
A little interesting, the weather that we left in Nebraska today, but we're so excited to be here, to be dancing, and just excited to focus on the game. We're looking forward to tomorrow's practice to kind of polish up the last minute things, and then excited to get after it on Friday.
The team will practice today at TCU ahead of their NCAA tournament game against Louisville tomorrow evening at 5. The game will air on ESPN. We'll have highlights here for you at KNOP. And then in national news today, car thefts in the U.S. fell 17% last year, marking the largest decline in 40 years. The National Insurance Crime Bureau says that close to 851,000 cars were stolen nationwide in 2024, a significant drop from the previous year, which recorded more than 1 million thefts. It turns around a 4-year trend of rising numbers. And NICB officials say that the decrease is thanks to hard work of law enforcement, auto theft task force, and car makers. Areas seeing the most thefts were Washington, D.C., California, and New Mexico. The most commonly stolen vehicles were Hyundais, oddly enough, and Chevy Silverado 1500 specifically, commonly stolen as well. Awfully interesting. Also topping headlines today, for the second time in a row, the Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates steady. Analysts say that yesterday's decision shows that central bankers are waiting to see how the Trump administration's policy changes will play a factor on the U.S. economy. Those adjustments include heavy tariffs, mass deportations, and downsizing the federal workforce. Economists predict there will be at least one rate cut before the end of the year. In January, the Fed said it expected to have 2 rate cuts within 2025. And a new report says the number of women over the age of 40 giving birth has surpassed the number of teenage girls, but the overall birth rate is in decline. A study this month by the National Center for Health Statistics examined for 2023 indicates that experts say the study findings about older mothers and teen mothers reflect long-hoped for public health goals of decreasing teen pregnancies as well, along with the medical advances which allow for women having children later in life. In fact, fertility rates for women's ages 40 to 44 increased 127%. The study also found the overall U.S. fertility rate has continued its long and steady decline. And lastly, an update on the health of Pope Francis. The Vatican says that the 88-year-old no longer needs assistance in breathing. The Pope had been using a mask to help him breathe, but in recent weeks only used it at night for sleeping. Pope Francis was admitted to the hospital in mid-February and had been battling pneumonia in both of his lungs. The Vatican says that his pneumonia is considered under control and he continues to be fever-free as well. Writing out the morning pulse here on this Thursday, March 20th with a check the 7-day forecast. Favorable temperatures for us to end the work week. Upper 60s by the time the weekend rolls around, and it gets even better early next week with highs in the low 70s.